We're here today, myself and Jackie, for one simple reason, and that is my worthy competitor in this race for county controller, Mr. Mychajliw, has shown that he's going to put his own political health ahead of the health of this neighborhood and the Western New York community by accepting dirty campaign money from Tonawanda Coke. And here's why it's important. For decades and decades and decades, Tonawanda Coke has been spewing, and knowingly spewing, known poisons and killers into our air and into our soil, and gotten away with it. The only reason it stopped was because of people like Jackie and citizens and residents and mothers and fathers in protection of their children stood up and brought this company to court, and they're now facing some $57 million in fines. So it seems to me that in as much as over these years, Tonawanda Coke got away with this for one reason, because they were constantly plying politicians with tens of thousands of dollars of cash over and over, politician after politician. And now Mr. Mychajliw has said, yes, I want to be part of that. I'll turn the other way. I'll let poisoning and pollution continue as long as I get my money. I think that's wrong. I think that's different than the average bickering among politicians about who money or cash or who's getting campaign money. We all know that the dirty money that sloshes around political accounts, it's endless and it's everywhere. But I'm here today to say I wouldn't do this. I would never take this money, and I'm going to make a respectful request to Mr. Mychajliw. Inasmuch as we're waiting for Tonawanda Coke to receive its fine from the federal prosecutors, and inasmuch as there's been magnificent work by Jackie and others to create innovative purposes to put that money to use, I'm asking Mr. Mychajliw today to take that $2,000 and give it to the Clean Air Coalition, or give it to the Tonawanda Study, or give it to the Industrial Pollution Prevention Project, all of which is going to be using the fines that Tonawanda Coke is going to have to pay here to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
You know, and his claim, and he says, you know, this is becoming this back and forth and it is what it is, but he brought to light the fact that he says you paid taxes late 2 separate years, and he thinks that this is a direct response to the fact that you knew he was going to let that information come out. Can I get your response to the taxes first, and then we'll talk about whether
That's a red herring, excuse me. Hello. I hate to interject, but I mean, all right, that's a red herring. I mean, he's not answering the question, and I'm standing here as a community member. I would like some answers as well. I'm going to give Mr. Mychajliw the benefit of the doubt. Come out and answer the question. Why did you accept campaign money from J.D. Crane?
His only response to that, and you know sometimes it can be difficult to get specific responses, was that he's proud of all the support he gets from any business that thinks that he's doing his job correctly.
May I respond to two of your questions? First and foremost, with respect to my personal taxes, there were 2 occasions in the past decade in which the state government adjusted the taxes that I owed, and the moment that I received notice of that, I paid them. They're paid in full. That's number one. Number two, for Mr. Mychajliw to, in a feckless, thoughtless, transparent way, attempt to change the subject. And by the way, by virtue of the privilege of the government reform and community work that I've done for almost 2 decades, everyone in Western New York knows everything about me. They know me, warts and all. And they know that I've spent the past 20 years giving voice to Western New Yorkers in an attempt to reduce taxes and decide for themselves the size and cost of their government. That's number one. Number two, when we come out here today, whether it be Jackie or I, to talk about a serious issue of public health and the well-being of our children, and the direct role now that Mr. Mychajliw has accepted by associating with Tonawanda Coke, taking that dirty money, for him to try to change the subject and bring up anything else, I think shows the type of character he is and why he's not qualified to hold this office.